Thousands of successful people have been asked what they think about most of the time. And the most common answer is they think about what they want and how to get it. What about you? What do you think about most of the time? Now, if you're going through life without clear goals, then pretty much it's the same as driving in a thick fog. No matter how well engineered your car is, you'll drive very slowly, making very little progress. But once you decide on your goals, it actually immediately clears the fog and allows you to focus on exactly what you want. Now, in this video, we're going to do just that. We're going to help you clear the fog by highlighting the best book, in my opinion, ever written on goal setting, Goals, How to Get Everything You Want Faster Than You Ever Thought by Brian Tracy. We're going to break down his 12-step goal setting process to help you make 2023 the best year you've ever had, and make sure you stick around to the end of the video, where I'm actually going to walk you through a specific example of exactly how to get what you want this year in 2023. Now, if you're new here, I'm Dr. Jeff Anzalone, a Louisiana periodontist that's on a mission to get you out of the rat race by building passive income streams. You can download the passive income guide I put together for you below the video. Now, if goals are so important, then why do most people set them in the first place? Why do so few people set them? Actually, it's 4 reasons. The first one is they don't think it's really that important. So most people in general don't realize the importance of goals. If you don't grow up around the right people, whether it be your parents, grandparents, coaches, teachers, or whatever, that actually teach you about goal setting, then you could actually reach adulthood without knowing that your ability to set and achieve goals will have more of an effect on your life, really, than any other skill. I've got 2 teenagers. I'm always stressing this to them. Number 2, most people, they don't really know how to set goals properly. Even worse are those that think they already have goals, such as, well, I want to be happy, or I want to make a lot of money, which, as we know, these aren't goals, but these are just merely fantasies that pretty much everybody wants, to be happy with a lot of money. A goal is something distinctly different from a wish. It's clear, it's written, and it's specific. Number 3, most people do not set goals because they have a fear of failure. I understand. I get it. Failure hurts and it's not fun. Each time we fail at something, we resolve to be more careful and avoid it in the future. Many people, after they have some sort of failure, they make the mistake of unconsciously sabotaging themselves after they have their failure by not setting goals at which they might fail at. A perfect example of this is when I began many years ago investing in real estate syndications, and I lost $50,000. That's right, $50,000 on a crowdfunding deal online. Now, I could have quit, as it was a huge failure and it was embarrassing and all that good stuff, but afterwards, I set goals to learn from my mistakes, but I did continue my path down the real estate investing road, and I'm glad I did. Number 4, people have a fear of rejection. People are afraid that if they set a goal and they do not achieve it, other people will criticize them. Now, in the book, the author recommends to keep our goals confidential. Let others begin to see what we accomplish, but we don't tell them in advance. So one of the things that came into my mind about this is, if instead of you announcing on social media that you're going to lose 100 pounds, start working out, start exercising, start eating right, and then people will start saying, man, you've lost a lot of weight. What are you doing to do that? So that is one of his recommendations, is to keep your goals confidential, let others see you making the change, and then they'll start asking about it. So now that we know why most people avoid setting goals, let's talk about the right way to set them. So what we're going to do is we're going to break down Brian Tracy's 12-step process on goal setting that he goes over in the book. The first one is, you want to have a desire. What do you really want? All right. So the first step is that you must have an intense, burning desire for your goal. And this particular intensity will determine the amount of determination you put behind it. Now, whenever I speak to new members of my passive investor circle, most have some sort of vague financial goals. And they'll tell me, well, Jeff, I'd like some passive income because it's what other people are doing too. Now, the likelihood of them achieving this goal is very low because there's really no burning desire involved behind it. Number two, you've got to believe that your goal is achievable. And because this belief is actually the catalyst, you must set a goal that's reachable and then set a series of goals after that. That way you won't be overwhelmed and quit. So for instance, if you are broke making $10,000 a year and your goal is to make $100,000 a month within a year, the likelihood of you achieving that is very low. So again, you want to make sure that you set goals that are achievable. Remember, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one single step. Number three, you want to make sure that you write your goal down. Now, I've heard it once said that a goal that's not in writing is not a goal at all. And the book recommends that we write and rewrite our goals on a regular basis, daily, weekly, and monthly. Going through this process will actually programs these goals deep into our subconscious mind to give us the actual right mindset where they'll actually start to take on a life of their own. Sometimes I hear about people doing this before they go to sleep. They're constantly thinking about their goals and that maybe they'll have a problem or something. They wake up because it's constantly going on in their subconscious mind. They wake up, the goal or the problem is solved. Try it out. Number four, you want to make sure that you determine where you're starting out. You want to have a starting point. All right. You've got to consider your current situation. Now, one of the first questions that you should ask yourself is, where am I now? So for instance, if you want to lose weight, the first thing you do is you step on a scale, right? You want to weigh yourself to determine your baseline weight. Now, if you want to achieve a certain level of financial worth, then you put together a personal financial statement and you determine where you are financially today. Where are you starting? Number five, you want to determine why you want this particular goal. So make sure that you make a list of all the ways that you're going to personally benefit by achieving your goals. The more reasons you have for wanting to achieve your particular goal, the more intense will be your desire. All of these reasons are the fuel in the furnace to get you to the achievement process. Number six, you want to make sure that you set a deadline. And by doing this, by setting a deadline, it's going to allow you to have a, quote, best guess of when you'll potentially attain your goal. It's kind of like aiming at a target. You may hit right in the middle. You may hit the bullseye. You may hit to the left. You may hit to the right. And you're going to fully achieve half of your goals that you set typically before your deadline. And then you're going to achieve typically the other half either at the deadline or slightly after. But again, you must have some sort of deadline, just like a scheduled departure time for a flight. Whether or not it leaves on time, guess what? It's still written on your boarding pass. Number seven, you want to identify all of the obstacles that are standing in your way. Now, some of the questions that you need to ask yourself are, why aren't you at your goal already? What's blocking you? Maybe what's holding you back? Or what's the single biggest obstacle? Now, if you're trying to the point where you're financially independent, you're trying to get to financial freedom, let's say in 5 to 7 years, well, then you could start looking at some of the obstacles. Maybe your income is too low. Maybe your expenses are way too high, so you don't have any extra money to invest. Or maybe both. So again, you have to determine what the obstacles are standing in your way. Number 8, you want to determine the additional knowledge and skill that you're going to need. Once you figure this out, once you determine the additional knowledge, information, and skills that you're going to require to achieve your goal, you've got to figure that out. So to go beyond your current level of accomplishment, you'll have to acquire knowledge and skills that you've never had before, right? Ask yourself, what one skill, if I developed and did it unbelievably, would help me the most achieve my goal? So whatever the answer is, write it down, make a plan, and then work on developing that skill each day until you master it. As you can see, I put some asterisks up here because I think it's so important that this decision alone could completely change your life. Perfect example of this is my real estate investing blog, debtfreedoctor.com. When I started it a little over 4 years ago, I had no idea I wasn't a writer. I didn't know anything about researching for blog art. I didn't know anything about that. And I quickly realized after I started it that if I wanted to attract people to actually come to the blog articles and read it, then I would have to acquire a new skill that I didn't have, learning how to write. And I can attest that this decision alone has completely changed the course of my life, completely changed the financial direction. And guess what? 95 or more percent of what I learned is free online. It's right there for you. And most of the resources, most of the knowledge and skill and information that you're going to need to accomplish your goal, I can guarantee you the majority of it is free online. You've got to figure out all of this stuff to allow you to focus on what you're going to need, and then you can go after it. Number 9, you want to determine the people who is going to help you the most, who you're going to need to help, whose cooperation are you going to need to help you achieve your goal. And I can't stress this enough, because guess what? Relationships are everything. I firmly believe that you can get anything in life if you know the right people, right? It's all about who you know. The more and better relationships that you develop, the faster that you're going to achieve these goals. You want to ask yourself, who are the key people that you work with or that you know in your community, personal life, friends, whatever. Then once you identify these people, what can you do to gain their help and cooperation? Number 10, make a plan and kind of put all these things together. All right. So a plan is nothing more than an organized list of tasks that you'll have in order to complete. You want to figure out, again, where you are. You want to go from point A to point B. So in goal achieving, you decide exactly what it is that you want. And again, you write it down. You analyze your starting point and you determine the reasons that you want to achieve this goal. You set a deadline, and you could actually go a step further and set a sub-deadline. You list the obstacles that you're going to have to overcome and the problems you'll have to solve. You determine the skills, the knowledge, and information that you'll have to learn or acquire to achieve your goal. You decide about the people whose help that you're going to need and what you'll have to do to get their help and support. Then you take all of these things together and you combine them into a plan of action. Next, you figure out, once you have all of this down, you figure out what to do first, second, third, so on and so forth. You figure out what's more important, what should you focus on first, and what's less important. You figure out what must be done before other things can be done, because the things are in a certain order. Kind of like you build a house, you don't build the roof first, right? You build the foundation and then go from there. And then you figure out, of all the things that you must do, what are the activities that are more important in achieving your goal than anything else? Focus your time, energy, and effort there. Number 11, you want to visualize your goal continually. All right. You want to visualize it each day as if it was already attained. So you want to see your goal very vividly in your mind's eye and to imagine what it would look like if you've already accomplished it. Many of the professional athletes out there use this strategy. And I first actually heard about it when I used to play golf way back when, before I had kids, when Tiger Woods was top of the leaderboard. And back when he was in his prime, I read that before each shot, he actually visualizes the ball's trajectory. He'll stand behind the ball and he would look and he would visualize exactly how he wanted that ball to travel to where he was aiming. Successful golfer. And then finally, we must learn, step number 2, never give up. That's right. We must never give up. Make sure that you back everything you do with persistence and determination. Make the decision long before you face any difficulties that no matter what happens, you'll persevere until you finally reach your goal. All right. Are you ready to start today? If so, then I want you to go ahead and I want you to take out a sheet of paper and I want you to label it goals. And then I want you to put today's date. All right. Now, what I want you to do next is I want you to make a list. Now, if you need to go back and rewatch any of this or whatever, feel free to do so. But I'm gonna walk you through what to do. Then I'm gonna walk you through a specific example. So once you do this, I want you to make a list of at least 10 goals that you'd like to accomplish over the next 12 months. Write these actually in the present tense, as though a year's already passed and you've already attained them. So for example, let's say you want to attain a certain amount of passive income per month. Now instead of you writing, I would like to make $1,000 of passive income every month, you'd write out, I make $1,000 a month in passive income. Now, once you've written out these 10 goals, review and you analyze your list. Then you ask yourself this question. Take a look at all your goals and you would go through there and you would ask yourself, what one goal on this list, if I accomplished it, would have the greatest greatest positive impact on my life this year? Once you identify it, then it becomes your major definitive purpose for the foreseeable future. It's the one that you actually write out using this 12-step process we just went over. All right. So I want to thank you. I know this has been a lot. We've gone through this, but I want to thank you for being patient. And I told you earlier in the video, if you would stick around with me to the end of the video, I've got something for you. I've got a specific example I think it will help you. Give you an example, and then you can apply it to whatever you want to do. And what we're going to do is I'm going to take his 12-step process and I'm going to walk you through a goal. So for example, we're going to say our goal is to come up with $12,000 a month in passive income. All right. That's what we want. We want $2,000 a month of passive income coming in within the next 12 months. So that's our goal. That's our example. All right. So once you identify that, you want to start focus on it. You want to analyze your starting position and you want to write out a list of reasons why you want to achieve it. So let's assume that your starting point, you want to say, hey, you know what? All I have is my dental income or my law income or just my active income. That's all I have coming in. I don't have any passive income. And that's where I started years ago. So you have zero passive income coming in. All right. So that's your starting point. And your why is you want to go from working full time to part time so you can spend more quality time with your family. All right. So your why you want to do this, let's just say you want to have more quality time with the family. All right. With me so far? Now you're going to figure out and identify the obstacles that actually stand between where you are right now and the attainment of the goal. So let's assume that your obstacle is probably for most of us is time. You're working full time and it's just going to be hard to figure out how you're going to find enough time to go out and get this passive income coming in. And let's just say you want to do real estate. So how are you going to go out? How are you going to find the different deals, different projects, and invest money in whatever you want to do, businesses or whatever, to get the extra income streams coming in? So I'm not saying to solve it. I want you to identify the obstacle. All right. And once you do that, then remember this really important one right here. I want you to identify the skills, information, and knowledge that you're going to need to achieve your goal of $2,000 a month. There's our goal right there of passive income. So again, let's say that your focus is on, you want to look more into real estate. All right. So then you're going to need the skills and knowledge to not only find the deals, but also figure out, is this property good or not? Should you invest in it or not? All right. Then you want to identify the people who you're going to need cooperation and assistance from. Could be somebody in your area. It could be, let's say it's a local real estate investor, could be a family member, could be a friend, could be anybody. Make a list of these people and invite them to lunch or dinner. And now you want to make a plan to accomplish this goal. So you want to write down the steps that you're going to need to make your goal a reality. Again, this could start with finding somebody to help you. Again, write down the people to contact. Write down how many hours per week you plan on learning about real estate. This could be you read blog articles, you watch videos, you listen to podcasts, whatever. Write it down. I'm on the treadmill or I go to the gym a couple hours, at least 1 hour, sometimes 2 hours a day, 5 to 6 days a week. That's a perfect time right there. You may want to listen to music half the time, listen to a podcast half the time. You may want to be like me and 100% doing learning, whatever it is. Again, you have to write that down. Now, something else that you could do, if you could actually shortcut this process, join our passive investor circle that's actually free if you're an accredited investor. I'll put the link below this video. And that way you've found the person, you have found the relationship, you have the relationship with me. I'm the one out there finding the deals, sourcing the deals, figuring out who to work with, who not to work with. So if you want to shortcut a lot of this, if this is one of your goals, you could join our group or a group like ours to help shortcut that process. Once you join the group, again, I do recommend that you continue, don't just rely on the knowledge of that person or group. You want to join the group learning on your own. So then when they reference something, then you'll be a little more knowledgeable about what they're talking about. All right. Then I want you to actually act on your plan and you do something every day that moves you towards your goal. You could write that you're going to make it a point. You're going to spend at least an hour a day, 5 days a week, educating yourself to get you this goal, educating yourself on passive income creation, whatever it is. It could be 30 minutes a day. It could be 20 minutes. It could be 2 hours, whatever it is. You want to, again, you want to write all this out. You want to come up with this plan. Finally, I want you to visualize your goal continually as if you've already achieved it. And you resolve that you're never going to what? You're not going to give up until you're successful. It may take you longer than a year. It may take you 2 years. It may take you less than a year. But again, visualize this goal and do that. And then remember, you've got this desire. So in this particular situation, what did you want? You wanted more quality time with your family, right? So I want you to picture yourself, visualize yourself spending more time traveling with them, going to their games, coaching them, whatever it is, visualizing yourself already achieving this goal. Think about the best places you want to go to travel. Or again, you may want to see yourself being more involved with their sports, being more involved in their school, whatever. The choice is yours. But again, you want to visualize this. All right. There you have it. That, my friends, to me, and I've read all kinds of goal setting books, that process, that 12-step process, is one of the best ways to not only set goals, but for you, how to achieve them to ensure that 2023 is going to be your best year ever. I want to leave you with this. I want to ask you a question. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to write down, again, I want you to take your goals and I want you to figure out what is that one goal that you're going to focus on. Leave it below in the comments. I'm going to love to hear about what you're looking for. And then who knows, I may just pick a random person that has commented, help them personally, get them on the right path for this year to achieve their goal. Looking forward to your comments. Take care.